Welcome to Rolled Worlds. I'm Sean Roberts, the writer.
I'm Kim. You can't see it, but I'm the one in the middle.
And I'm Ronan, the artist.
And today on Rolled Worlds, we are discussing Eeelana, who is one of the major gods in the pantheon of Tanu. Yeah, she's a favorite of a lot of people. A lot of people end up playing characters that worship her because she is a goddess of ecstasy, of bliss, and fun, and
Excess.
and what?
Excess.
Excess. Yep, like just overindulgence, extravagance, and she is referred to as the all-gendered one because she has both the anatomy of male and that way
Female.
she can experience all pleasures.
But it's not hermaphroditic. She can choose one of them as well.
Right, she can take on those different genders.
Genitalia.
Yeah, genitalia. She can do that and
But her favorite form is to have all of it at once
Right, right. That way she can experience any and all pleasures.
and show all of it off.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. A lot of the time she is depicted naked. The only thing that she really likes to wear is a cloak. And she actually has a story, like a folk tale behind the creation of the first cloak in existence. Darontia, who is the god of trickery, who we'll eventually do a video on, he wanted to play a trick on Eeelana, and so he took like a robe, yeah, like a wizard like robe, and he removed the arms from it and he cut it in half and gave it to Eeelana as a gift, saying that it was more efficient than a robe and how like it can stay open and show herself and all that type of stuff, and he thought it was going to be a funny way to kind of like embarrass her in front of the other gods, but she tried it on and she was just like, this is perfect, and so she just kept wearing it and loved it. And so that's where the first cloak came into existence. It was created by the trickster god and worn by the goddess of pleasure.
And now everybody just has to deal with it.
That was a story, or that everybody just has to deal with the way
fact that
Lana
she's
dresses.
naked, yeah.
Right. We refer to her as a she because most of the time she has a more feminine quality to her when it comes to her face and like her upper body.
Her personality as well.
Yep. Yep.
Like a flirtatious nature, and she's also nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
And those are usually associated with females.
Right, right. She was involved with the creation of the universe. She is one of the major gods. She made sure that there was pleasure, that there were ways for people to have fun. She didn't really create any specific things. It was more like just what you could do with those things and like the concepts behind them, aspects, ideas.
What things you could put into what things, and what things you could mix together and eat and drink.
Right. She created specific feelings and desires and all that type of stuff. She is definitely a goddess of the mind and the heart, not so much the physical reality.
But physicality is how most people pay respect to her.
Right, right, because those are the experiences that you can have. Her physical attributes, like we talked about, she's usually has the upper body of a woman, lower body, kind of just moment to moment for her. I wouldn't say that anybody really imagines her one way or another most of the time, but it's kind of just whatever she wants at any particular time.
I picture her having like the best body. Like, it's not really gender specific. There are men, like, Captain America has America's butt, right?
Yep. Yeah, just whatever she wants.
Actually, most
at
men
any
I know have
particular
better
time.
legs than most women I know too. So it's just whatever is the most appealing is what I imagine her being shaped like.
And she probably looks different per person because
We
she would
never
probably
really thought about that.
yeah, never really thought about that until right now. She probably changes her physical aspect based upon what your mind would desire the most on a physical level.
There could be some real weird stuff going on for some people.
Right? There could be some strange things involved with what she looks like.
Could be some like octopus type stuff happening.
Well, if she came across an octowin, that octowin would
Well, that's
probably...
true. I forgot that there's people like that in our world. Never mind. It's not that weird.
It's not that weird.
It's not weird anyways, and I'm not saying it's weird.
Yep.
If octopi catches your eye, you go with it. We love you anyways.
Right. Her attitude, you mentioned, very flirtatious. She's very straightforward. She is one-track mind.
But I think there's also like a flightiness to her.
Yep. Well, she definitely has what she wants, and her one track is on whatever it is that she desires at that moment. And that could change on a whim,
Right.
but then she is completely obsessed with the next thing that she really wants. She is secretive, though, as well, both because of her relationship with Morgan, which we discussed before, but also just because having a secret can be a pleasuring thing. Like,
Right.
it's fun to have secrets, that type of stuff, and so she's good with secrets, which probably makes her get along really well with the goddess Linhufka, which is one of the minor gods that we'll discuss eventually, who's the goddess of treasure and secrets. She is a very giving god in the sense that she is not a gatekeeper when it comes to her faith. It's like, oh, you want to worship me? Come right in. Like come be part of the party. And that's kind of gotten her in trouble in the past because of Slanfarnik, the campaign that occurred where Slanfarnik and her became one avatar together, and all the other gods, including Morgan, were upset with her over it.
But there was a naivety there.
Well, right.
She didn't really believe that, or she wasn't aware that she was doing something incorrect. She was, I mean, she kept it a secret, but she felt like, I want to experience this type of pleasure now, this type of ecstasy and over excess. And that was her only motivation.
Right, like her whole motivation.
The darkness of the act was not her motivation.
Right. But the type of pleasure was, and the pleasure came from that darkness, because those were new pleasures that she hadn't experienced before. And so there was like when people suffer a certain way, there can be a pleasure in that, and she had never experienced that before. And so she was like, all right, Slanfarnik, I'll give you some of my followers and I'll make them believe in you, and you just gotta let me feel what you feel sometimes. Relationship with others. Well, we've talked about her relationship with Morgan, her relationship with Slanfarnik. She has a good relationship with Sarah Palong, who is the being that is Eeelana and Slanfarnik combined, who's kind of like a pseudo-god right now, kind of working on her way to becoming a full-fledged god.
Thanks to Ronan.
Yep.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I was so jazzed about that when Sean told me. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, I mean, if I'm about anything, it's evil and sex, you know. Like, I think that she probably has a decent standing with all of them.
Yeah.
Except, I would say Gore probably finds her pretty unnecessary. I don't think that there is an issue with them, but he doesn't see the point in her.
Right, because he's always just fighting.
Yeah.
I bet there's times in which she's been able to, like, make him relax.
Maybe.
But yeah, he probably doesn't really, like you said, find her very necessary.
And unless there's...
Draw. I bet Draw doesn't find her necessary at all. Gore is the god of war, in case we haven't ever talked about him yet, and we'll get to him. He's a major god. But the minor god Dra, who is the god of equality, balance, and, like, peace.
I might disagree with you.
She's all about pleasure and stuff,
Right,
but that ecstasy...
But because he is the god of balance, and he's not he's genderless.
Right. He does
like
not have a form.
The other side of his coin almost, because she's all gendered. I think that he could see that and appreciate that she is the complete opposite of him, at least physically. And he might appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Like, she is everything and he is nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think she just throws things out of balance,
Oh,
though,
yeah,
and I
for
bet
sure.
that's why he doesn't
Mhm.
like. Well, that's where my thought process was. That Draw views her as imbalance
Mhm.
because it is all pleasure, it is all
But
ecstasy.
again, I could say that there is an appreciation for that because it is
balance in it,
Yeah.
balance in Draw, from Draw,
right.
the other side. Yeah, sure.
It's a conundrum.
Huh?
It's a conundrum.
Right. Yeah, out of the gods that exist, I bet those are some of the more dynamic relationships that she has.
And I'm sure there are some of the females who might have a sense of jealousy about the comfort that Eeelana feels in their own skin. Well, yeah, I'm sure there are some male gods that feel the same way too.
Yeah.
Like the dinner ant god.
Tyrannos?
Yeah.
What about him?
I'm sure that he feels less than some of the other gods because he's smaller in stature and feel jealous about Eeelana,
Maybe.
who can be whatever shape they want to be.
Right. But I bet she embraces him
Oh,
still.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure that it's like I'm saying, just like little bouts of jealousy. I can't think of any real conflicts she might have.
With many of the
Yeah.
gods at all. Because everybody wants to enjoy something.
Right.
Goals and desires. She wants Morgan. She wants to, like, be with Morgan because there's desire, there's lust, there's passion, there's all those things. But I would say he's like the one thing that she loves.
Mm-hmm. And she wants exclusivity in that too.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was a thing before he came along.
Right. I would say, because up until Morgan, I would say that it was just lust and desire and passion and ecstasy.
Or she loved several people at once.
Right.
Or several beings at once, I should say.
Right. Yeah. What was the moment for them?
We haven't ever really discussed that.
Right.
Because we've talked about her pursuit of him. So the moment for
And
Eeelana...
he was the one who was kind of like, no.
So, but the moment for Eeelana had to have happened before that.
Yeah, she definitely wanted him first.
I'm sure there was some form of righteousness that he did that just solidified being with him. Or maybe it was the same for Eeelana. Maybe the pursuit happened and the push and pull happened. And in the beginning it was just lust.
Yeah, because maybe he was just, because maybe it was just for her, like, he keeps saying no.
Right.
And like, I want to know what that pleasure is, because I've never had that pleasure. And all the other gods, I've acquired them at one point or another, but I've never acquired the pleasure of Morgan. So like, so there was a pursuit on her part of like continuing.
I feel like that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Instead of Eeelana idolizing him, it just accidentally happening for both of them within the confines of the back and forth that was happening.
How did she eventually get him? How did she eventually win him over?
We discussed this a little bit in his video. She wore him down, and eventually he said yes, and they mated, but then he would pull away. And at some point in the push and pull, he decided that he couldn't be without Eeelana anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like the first time they were together, it might have happened for Eeelana.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it happened for him too, but then that shame existed. Like, he's not supposed to be doing anything with anybody. He's supposed to be diligent.
Right.
Besides that, it's just the acquiring of pleasures.
Right, and she wants too.
Right.
She wants to discover new things to want and new things to find pleasure in.
Right. Beyond that, I think that she's fairly simple. Then we've got followers and cults. Well, we've got the cult that Sid's, the purple Qualic rabbit, created. Is there a name to the cult besides Sarah Palong's cult?
They don't call themselves a cult.
What do they call themselves?
So the followers are just called reprobates.
Gotcha. So they're just the reprobates.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't made it happen yet. They're gonna build temples that will be called the temples of taboo.
Ah.
So it's the temples of taboo.
Yes.
All right. Which inadvertently supports Eeelana
Right.
as well.
Because lots of things that she does are taboo as well.
Right, because Sarah Palong is that dark aspect of Slanfarnic, but mixed with the pleasures of Eeelana.
It would be interesting if Sarah Palong accidentally let it slip that Mortian and Eeelana were together. Because originally Sarah Palong was a follower of Eeelana before her and Slanfarnic started working together.
Right, she actually had an Eeelana cult that existed inside of the city of Gartilia.
And Eeelana would come to her.
Right.
So, I mean, having secrets, one of the pleasures of them is sharing it with somebody.
Right. Yeah, like the followers of Eeelana acquire the blessing of Eeelana, and so they're blessed with the ability to alter their physical form, not their species. So if they're like a Pharaonian, they can't turn into a Qualic, they can't turn into an Octowin or something like that, but they can change their physical form to be whatever gender, sexual orientation, eye color. Like they can change their physical shapes, then they can look however they want for the goal of appealing to those around them or to themselves, so then they could enjoy themselves.
I never thought of that.
And so, well, if you could change into...
I would just pee on everything.
Yeah, so if you could change into a physical male body, you would
I would pee all over the place.
Gotcha.
Like, gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, you don't have to stop. Just roll the window down. I gotta pee.
All right. So that's what she does to her followers. Mm-hmm. She bestows that blessing upon them, and then they have big celebrations in which they physically
Nobody wears shoes.
Yes, nobody wears shoes.
And that's all we're going to say about that.
She also has a holiday that's dedicated to her that we just came up with the group of our LARPers last night. And that holiday is called Extravagance Day.
Kalukale.
And on Extravagance Day, people celebrating that they try to decorate themselves with as much color and as much excess in jubilation and it's like Mardi Gras, but cranked up to an 11.
Except everybody keeps their clothes on because we have children also playing this game.
Right. Like the LARP, when we do the LARP and there's kids involved.
Our D&D games are separated. We have adult-only D&D games that we bring forth all of the amazements of Eeelana.
Right, but with the LARP and those types of things, it's just...
Actually, any of our younger D&Ders don't know what Eeelana is.
They know that she's the all-gendered one.
They know that she's
non-binary.
non-binary.
Right.
Because that's powerful for them.
Right.
But they don't know when we talk to them about how she's about pleasure, they think of walking on wet grass or eating a delicious sandwich. We don't explain to them that we mean all pleasures because we're not their parents, and that would be weird.
Right. And so in game, for the purpose of Eeelana, when it comes to the LARP, it's just about having a big party.
Right. We're all a bunch of peacocks.
Right. That's how we ended up describing it last night. Feathers and color and glitter and paint and
really rich desserts.
Yep. Just enjoying things at an 11. Yeah. Like I said, just cranking it up. Are there any other specific things that are done?
There is Eilana's cup.
Oh yeah, Eeelana's Cup, which is basically like a drinking game in Eeelana's
It is,
name. So
and at the very end there is a game of hide and go seek.
That's what it was.
Right.
Yep. There's a big game of hide and seek, and everybody plays it.
When you find each other, you scream out wildly.
Right. It's called hide and scream instead.
And so the screaming and the hiding comes from
Dionysus.
Yeah,
there's aspects of this holiday that are definitely being drawn from the Greek. The Maenads were women that would they worship Dionysus, and they would drink wine, and they would celebrate, and then they would end up running through the woods naked, and if they came across animals or men or any other living things while they were running through the woods, in their ecstasy and their craziness and their drunken stupor that they were in, they would indulge them. Right, they would tear them apart and eat them and just give in to the indulgence of that. And so it was actually a night in which men would be scared, and wouldn't go out into the woods on those nights because they would be afraid that they were going to get eaten by a group of women. Shh. You are adding unnecessary dialogue underneath the dialogue.
You have to cut all that out now.
I'm aware.
And the 8 and ums that you did a few minutes ago should probably be gotten rid of as well.
Shut up. Yeah, I'll just cut that out too. Shut up. And
I will just come out. My NPC for the day will be Eeelana.
An Eeelana cultist.
No.
Yeah.
Did I stutter?
Just Eeelana. Yeah.
Oh.
You heard her.
Okay. All right. Well, Eeelana lives in Sipta, which is the plane of existence of air. She's in there along with all the other gods of Sipta.
Oh, she probably loves the unicorns.
Yep, I bet she rides them all the time.
Bareback, like Lady Godiva.
Yes, exactly. So that's it for the episode today for Eeelana. We've discussed where she came from, and what she wants, and her physical attributes, her personality, stories about her holiday that has been created inside the LARP. And if you want to come and be part of the LARP, that's actually, the next game is happening on October 21st. This year, 2019. It's from 6:30 until 9:30, and it's happening in Ascutney, Vermont at our theater. We're changing the entire theater room into kind of a tavern setup. And the game that's happening on the 21st is another holiday that is kind of connected to Slenfarnic. It's called The Crossing, and it pertains to Halloween and Samhain and kind of the Day of the Dead. It celebrates the dead who have passed on, who are remembering and honoring and calling forth to celebrate our dinner with us that night. But we also have to be wary of the darker, more sinister spirits that are also traveled over into our realm, such as the Shadow Children and Slenfarnic and her beings. So if you want to come and be a part of that, please do come to the LARP and join in. And you can create an advanced character that levels up each time you come and each time you play. Or you could be a simple character that just comes, you get a sword if you want to be a warrior, or you get a few spells if you want to be a spellcaster, or you get a dagger and this skill ability of camouflage if you come and want to be a rogue. That way you can come in and just play it, and it's simple and easy for you. We also have our tabletop role playing that we do. We have a lot of plays coming up this month in October, so we'd love to see more people coming out and being involved in our productions. Auditions for our winter musical are happening at the end of October. Please subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have people comment on our videos and tell us ideas that they can think of for the different stories that we discuss or the gods that we bring up. Like our video if you like them, like our other videos. Check us out on Facebook at World Under Wonder. You could find us on Patreon and you can like us there and become a sponsor of World Under Wonder. If you simply want to just donate to us and not have to worry about Patreon, not have to worry about any of that type of stuff, just email us at worldunderwonder@gmail.com. Tell us what your level of donation is that you would like to give. We're not looking for much, anywhere from $1 to $5 a month, in order to help financially support the goings on here at the theater, such as our YouTube channel. Next time on Rolled Worlds, we will be discussing Darontia, the trickster god, since he was kind of mentioned today along with Eeelana because of their story. He's been kind of an antagonist at times inside the cosmology of Tanu, and he's also just been a sneaky, conniving guy. There's even a holiday for him, which gets a little evil even.
Hee-haw.
Hee-haw Day, which we will discuss when we talk about Darontia. So thank you for listening in, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of Rolled Worlds. I'm Sean, the writer.
I'm Kim. I'm still sitting in the middle.
And I'm Ronan, the artist.